Cole Hocker is not just another name in track and field. He is the Olympic champion, a world champion, and one of the most complete middle-distance runners of his generation. But even greatness can be overlooked, especially when it happens at the wrong time. Born on June 6, 2001 in Indianapolis, Indiana, Hocker's rise has been steady, calculated, and relentless. At just 19 years old, he stepped onto the Olympic stage at the 2020 Summer Olympics and finished 6th in the 1,500 meters. That result didn't make headlines, but it sent a quiet message. A future champion had arrived. 4 years later, that promise became reality. At the 2024 Summer Olympics, Hocker delivered one of the greatest 1,500-meter performances in Olympic history. His time of 3 minutes 27.65 didn't just win gold, it set an Olympic record and redefined what was possible in championship racing. It was a performance built on patience, precision, and devastating closing speed. But Hocker didn't stop there. In 2025, at the World Athletics Championships, he moved up in distance and captured gold in the 5,000 meters. That victory proved something rare. Hocker wasn't limited to one event. He could dominate across distances, blending endurance with elite finishing speed. By early 2026, Hocker had already established himself as one of the most versatile runners in the world. He held American records, ranked among the fastest ever indoors, and continued to evolve with every race. But what happened next would elevate him even further, while somehow receiving less attention than it deserved. The 2026 indoor season began with a statement. On January 23rd, at the Hockey Invitational in Blacksburg, Virginia, Hocker attacked the 2,000 meters. He ran 4:52.92, breaking the long-standing American indoor record previously held by Bernard Lagat. It was a historic run, controlled, powerful, and decisive, but the celebration didn't last. Just 1 day later, at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix in Boston, Hobbs Kessler shattered the world record in the same event, running 4:48.79. In less than 24 hours, Hocker's record had been erased from the spotlight. For most athletes, that would have been discouraging. For Hocker, it became fuel. Instead of fading into the background, he doubled down. 1 week later, at the Millrose Games, he lined up against world-class competition, including Josh Kerr. Over 2 miles, Hocker delivered again, winning in 8 minutes 7.31 seconds with a performance that showcased both strength and tactical brilliance. At that point, the signs were clear. Hocker wasn't just in form, he was building towards something extraordinary. Everything pointed toward February 14, 2026. The stage was set at the ASICS Sound Running Invitational in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. A fast track, a packed crowd, and perfect racing conditions created the ideal environment for something special. Cole Hocker entered the mile as the clear favorite. He had momentum, confidence, and a series of elite performances behind him. But what he produced that night went beyond expectations. It was a masterclass. The race began with controlled pacing. The field was guided through 609 meters in 1 minute, 25.14 seconds, then 1,000 meters in 2 minutes, 22.81 seconds. Everything was setting up for a fast finish, but no one anticipated just how decisive that finish would be. With 400 meters remaining, Hocker made his move. It wasn't gradual, it wasn't hesitant, it was explosive. He surged to the front and immediately began to separate from the field. Among those chasing was Vincent Chiate, but even he couldn't respond. Within seconds, the race was no longer a contest. By 300 meters to go, the gap was undeniable. By 200 meters, Hocker was running alone. His final lap was extraordinary, 54.82 seconds. His last 200 meters, just 27.34 seconds. That level of closing speed, after an already fast pace, is what separates great runners from legendary ones. When he crossed the finish line, the clock read 3:45.94. It was more than a win. It was history. That time shattered the previous American indoor mile record held by Yared Nuguse, but more importantly, it became the second fastest indoor mile ever recorded. Only one man in history had gone faster, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, whose world record of 3:45.14 set the global standard just a year earlier. And Hocker didn't just break one record that night. During the same race, his split at 1,500 meters, 3:30.80, set another American indoor record. It was a performance defined by precision, power, and perfect execution. Behind him, Cooper Teare finished second in 3:50.49, a strong time, but nearly 5 seconds back. That margin at this level is massive. Everything about the race was dominant. The pacing, the move, the finish. It should have been the biggest story in track and field, but it wasn't. The problem wasn't the performance, the problem was timing. The middle distance world had just experienced one of the most extraordinary weeks in recent history. Record after record had fallen, creating a wave of headlines that overshadowed even the greatest achievements. Just one day after Cole Hocker broke the American 2,000-meter record, Hobbs Kessler rewrote the world record. Then came another shock. Josh Hoey ran 1:42.50 in the 800 meters, breaking a long-standing world record previously held by Wilson Kipketer for nearly 3 decades. It was a perfect storm of historic performances, and right in the middle of it, Hocker delivered one of the fastest miles ever run indoors. But the news cycle had already moved on. Even at the same meet, multiple storylines competed for attention. Rising talents like Sam Rutha impressed with a 3:52.46 mile. Teenage sensation Cooper Lutkenhaus ran 1:44.03 in the 800 meters, one of the fastest indoor times ever by a young athlete. Meanwhile, Nico Young dominated the 3,000 meters with a devastating finishing kick. In any other week, Hocker's 3:45.94 would have been the undisputed headline. Instead, it became part of a larger narrative, one that diluted its impact. But make no mistake, the significance of that performance hasn't changed. Hocker proved something essential. He is not just an Olympic 1,500-meter champion. He is not just a 5,000-meter world champion. He is an athlete capable of competing and winning across the entire middle distance spectrum. That level of versatility is rare. That level of dominance is even rarer. And with the World Athletics Indoor Championships approaching, his message is clear. He is ready. Less than 5 weeks before the championships, Hocker has shown peak form. His times are elite. His confidence is visible. His racing is controlled and decisive. The question is no longer whether he can compete. The question is, who can stop him? Because even when the spotlight fades, performances like this don't disappear. They define eras.